now move on to the next one. That is Theocharidou. Is it correct? Pronounced not very right. Sorry, I apologize.
May I have your mic? Hello, I'm Marianthi Theocharidou. I have a very difficult Greek name. Apologies for that. I work at ENISA. ENISA is the EU agency for cybersecurity. So our mission is to improve cybersecurity across the EU. And that, of course, includes the railway sector, which is part of the sectors that we are focusing on. I work for the Policy Development and Implementation Unit, so our task is to see the new policies being developed for cybersecurity, how they can be implemented, and support the Commission in their role. You can see here, this is a snapshot of the policy activity happening on the cybersecurity side, and we've seen earlier from the European Commission what's going on the railway side, so you can understand multiple policies, regulation directives, depending, are coming up or are already into force. I marked there the two most important for your sector, being one of them being the Network and Information Security Directive. It's already in force. For the railway companies, it will include additional cybersecurity requirements and also notification of incidents. And on the other hand, it's the Cyber Resilience Act imposing primarily cybersecurity requirements to the manufacturers, and Nicola covered it earlier. There are also sector-specific policies, but you will not identify at the moment a railway sectorial regulation on cybersecurity, and in the foreseeable future we do not expect this. But these two main policies are affecting the sector in terms of requirements. And of course, the standards you are discussing can be a means to actually meet these requirements. I have two roles at ENISA. Half of my time is on what I described, monitoring the policy and supporting its implementation. My other task is to write the cyber threat landscapes that ENISA is issuing. You may be familiar with them. We focused in the past a year and a half on the transport sector. Last March, we issued a dedicated cyber threat landscape for the transport sector. You will find a chapter on railway and see how what the publicly available incident data say about the sector. But a few weeks ago, we issued also our annual cyber threat landscape. And there, transport, as you may see, I don't know, it's a very small figure, but it's quite high in terms of incidents. Of course, it's not just railway there, it's airports and airlines included, and also transport authorities being targeted. But if you look at the graph on the right-hand side, we saw a surge of attacks targeting transport companies in the first 2 quarters of 2023. So this relates with if you see this figure, relates with the current geopolitical situation. There are a lot of denial of service attacks being targeting also railway companies. You see there the graph is very telling on the right-hand side. This was particularly observed in the second quarter of 2023. So what you can deduct is that there are attacks already taking place affecting railway companies. It's not that it's something for the future, something that digitalization will bring. It's already here. It's just that with the increased digitalization, we foresee more significant impact. We don't just have denial of service attacks being successful and quite a few being actually impactful in the recent period, but we also see a lot of ransomware attacks and data theft and data leaks targeting the sector. These are the core of the incidents that we monitor and see. And what is valuable in the sector is mainly the information being found in the ICT parts. You see there the motivation of the actors. The bulk of the attacks you see in blue is the aim to disrupt, primarily by hacktivists. They target specific EU countries. And the second portion of the incidents have to do with financial motivation. And what's valuable, as I said, is customer data, proprietary information, and that has to do with the supply chain. This is also something that cyber criminals are targeting. And we see in particular attacks to infrastructure managers, railway undertakings, but as well on their suppliers and service providers, mainly on the ICT part, not the OT. But we had cases where ransom was being requested because of important information being stolen. This sums up a little bit what's going on in the sector in terms of cyber threats. And of course at ENISA we continue to monitor, and every year we will report the new findings. But the question is, what's going on with the operational technology, and is it secure? Should we worry or not? From the incidents we managed to find, and we had some information, it's mainly the IT parts being targeted. However, we already observed disruptions taking place because of the heavy reliance to these ICT services. So even though the operational systems are not directly affected, they are affected indirectly. Why? Because there is dependence to the ICT parts. Or we had cases in the EU where OT systems and networks were unavailable because the attack on the company was so big, for example, a big ransomware attack, that the whole network was down, so nothing was functioning. So, but we have not seen a direct attack on an OT system, a cyber attack on an OT system affecting safety, which is one of the primary concerns. However, at ENISA we are looking at other sectors, we are also looking at the recent developments, and we worry that this will not be the case for a very long time. And you are all discussing also the evolution of the sector and the ongoing digitalization. We already see at the energy sector malware targeting industrial settings already, so the capability starts to increase from the attacker sides. We have seen that in particular in Ukraine, so the idea that the attackers do not have the know-how to target a sector because they don't know the systems, this slowly changes. Targeting the OT part is quite attractive in the sense that in a monetary sense the victim may be more pressured to actually pay a ransom if being attacked. And we see an increased number of newly identified vulnerabilities in OT environments, and so it's not just the interconnection with the ICT and how they are more open now and not in isolation, but of course vulnerabilities in OT environments. And if you couple this with vulnerabilities in cloud, vulnerabilities in the IoT environment, and the future plans for using both in the sector, I think a lot needs to be done to improve cybersecurity from the beginning, so from the supply chain and the daily operations later on the client side. What we do with ENISA is, of course, we are cybersecurity experts. We are not safety engineers. I'm the only one at ENISA that actually understands some of your acronyms and terms and knows a little bit about regulations and standards you have. So we work very hand in hand with ERA. We recently signed also a memorandum of understanding. And we focus on two areas. The first one is on the policy side. We see how the NIST directive can be implemented in the railway sector and whether there are specific elements there that need to be considered. This also applies for the CRA, but it's still under political discussion, so we are waiting there what the decision will be. At ENISA, we develop, on behalf of the Commission, EU certification schemes. These are horizontal, but for us it's important to see whether they can be applied in the sector or not, whether the sector needs specific certification schemes. This is something we discuss with ERA. And we are also supporting ERA in their work for the common safety methods and the TSIs. And not that we are involved in the formal process, but we give our cybersecurity opinion when ERA is considering of improving cybersecurity in particular parts of the TSIs. They are designed for interoperability. They are not cybersecurity specifications. However, there is room in some of them at least to include the state-of-the-art when it comes to cybersecurity. This is one part of our work, but the other one has to do with people, because policies, standards, specifications, cybersecurity measures is one part of the equation. The other part for us is the people working on the sector, and there a lot of work can be done. We do awareness-raising campaigns. Last week, in fact, we had a railway-dedicated awareness-raising campaign. We try to assist ERA and also IC on the issue of skills. What job profiles does the sector need? How can the sector recruit the right people? Do they need to know cybersecurity? Do they need to know about railway? In fact, there are not many educational paths directly providing you the stuff you need. And also, of course, at ENISA we do a lot of trainings, exercises and events, and this we do always hand in hand with ERA. I am really looking forward to hear also what will be discussed in the next session, that is pure cybersecurity, but I gave a little flavor to begin with. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.